I want to clarify what this video is, or more importantly, what this video isn't. This is not a how to grow up without a father video, or a how to handle your father leaving video. I think we can all agree that everyone handles it differently, and I definitely didn't handle everything perfectly. But what I have done is I've spent a lot of time analyzing my past actions, my behaviors, my decisions, and it has helped me understand myself on a much deeper level. So on the off chance that somebody's in a similar situation as me, and they can benefit from my realizations or learn from my mistakes, I figured I'd share my musings with you. So, with that being said, let's start from the beginning. Age 15, mother meets father in San Diego. They get into what Jada Pinkett Smith would describe as an entanglement. She gets knocked up. Pregnant 15 has me 16. Now, I don't have very many specific memories of my father other than the fact that I said goodbye to him in a shopping center parking lot of all places, and he called me maybe 2 or 3 times over the course of 15 years for sporadic birthdays, and that about sums up my whole relationship with him. He left very abruptly when I was 5 due to some gang complications, and I had to go through multiple phases of not having a father, or understanding and rationalizing not having a father. And it didn't even start until his death about 7 years ago. And that kind of walks us straight into the first phase, which is apathy. Now, apathy was by far the longest phase. From the moment my dad left, my mom didn't really talk about the fact that he was gone. I think she was a little too independent for that. And I think how she felt about him kind of bled into how I felt about him. She didn't care, so why should I kind of a situation. So I was just convinced that I didn't give a damn. And in a lot of ways, I didn't. At least not in the way that you would think. I actually have 2 specific memories about the day that my father died. Number 1. Mom calls me up. She says, "Trey, I got bad news." Now, immediately my heart sinks because the last time she said this, my grandma died. Very close to my grandma. It messed me up. It broke me. I cried like a little bitch. Okay, so my heart's sinking. I'm wondering who it could be. She goes, "Your dad's dead." Couple seconds of a pause, and I go, "Jesus Christ, Mom, that's it? Holy shit, you scared the crap out of me." Like, I'm over here racking my brain trying to figure out who it could be, worrying that it's going to affect me differently, and it turns out it was just him. And when I realized it was him, I was relieved because it was someone that I didn't care about. Now, I know that sounds dark, but that was my truth. That's where I was. Okay, fast forward, the same day, I'm at work. I'm a setter, a busboy at a restaurant in Colorado. We're getting ready for the big shift. I'm in the back with one of my managers. We're slicing up some limes. I'm still trying to process how little I care about the death of my dad. And we're slicing up the limes, and I look to my manager, and I go, "Were you close with your dad?" And he goes, "Absolutely. I love him. I don't know what I would do without him." "Why?" And I go, "Oh, well, because my dad just died." And he immediately, he throws down the knife, he puts out his hands, and he goes, "Holy shit, dude. You good?" And I go, "Yeah, I'm good. You good?" See, that was a weird situation because I knew I was supposed to care. It was clear I was supposed to care. The way that he reacted, the fact that one of my parents just died, everything suggested that I should care, but it just wasn't a big deal. So for most of my life, I am convinced that I just don't give a damn, right? All the way up into the man's death. And then one day, I'm talking to a coworker, it's the same job, and he says, "What would you do if your dad just came to those doors?" And I didn't even have to think about it. I said, "I'd beat his ass." If he were to show up at the last act of the film looking for a father-son bonding hug, I would whoop his ass best I could. Immediately show him who the alpha was. But, I mean, let's break down what I just said. I'm going to beat his ass. Me, the son who doesn't care, is going to beat his ass. Do you know how much heart you have to beat someone's ass? It's not an empathetic action. You can't throw the first punch and say you were cool, calm, and collected. It just doesn't work that way. Which takes me to the next part. When I said that, it shocked the shit out of me just as much as the person I was talking to. This whole time, I thought I didn't give a damn, and it turns out I was furious. Now, for a while, I just kind of stayed in that realized anger. I just ran with it, fuck him and fuck him for what he did to me. Okay, and now I'm fuming, and I find myself in the room with my own anger. I'm starting to have to ask questions that I knew I was avoiding. Well, why am I angry in the first place? What did he do to me? What, he left? And? What is that? Don't we get to choose where we are and whose life we stay in? See, I was taught at a young age that if someone wants to leave, you just let them go. Okay, so why would this person be any different? We didn't have a history, we didn't have a rapport, we didn't have a relationship. So I was thinking this whole time that I was being punished by his absence. You can't be punished by someone's absence without first placing value in their presence. If my value wasn't in him, then what was that thing that I felt that I was missing? And that takes me to the next part. See, I realized in that moment that I wasn't missing him. I was missing the idea of him. And that idea was being dressed up and displayed all around me. I'd go to a friend's house and I'd hear about their camping trips and their fishing trips, and I'd see their dads teaching them how to build things with their hands and how to be a man. I was jealous. And you see enough of that and you start to get this feeling of like, well, why don't I get a dad? What did I do to deserve not having a dad? That kid over there, he sucks at being a son. I can be better than him. And that's a dark place to be. Those are dark thoughts to have, but it's just how I felt. It felt unfair. Why am I not good enough to have a father? What did I do to deserve this? When you're in that mindset, it takes a while to get out. It sticks to you. It messes with you. But after a while, the haze began to clear a little bit, and I could start to think, okay, so we've determined that it's not my actual father that I'm missing. It's the idea of a father. Okay, well, I can do that. I can work with an idea. I've got tons of ideas. So what do? I go into the lab, I put on my lab coat, and I Frankenstein the shit out of this. I took all the men in my life, my friends' dads, my mom's boyfriends, uncles, teachers, fathers of the women I was with. Anytime I saw a man who had an attribute or someone that I looked up to, I would take it. I'd steal it. I'd hold on to it. And eventually I had enough to where I could create this pseudo-father, right? And at the core of this pseudo-father is a man if you were to ask me who my father is, a person comes to mind, right? Even though we don't share any kind of blood. Okay, he gave me love, he gave me time, he gave me compassion. Okay, but the other influential men in my life, they were able to make the arms, and they made the legs, and ultimately a very sturdy head on my shoulders. Now, I was unfortunate enough to where I did not grow up with a father from an early age. I had to go through my years of apathy, my anger, my jealousy. However, after I got through all of that, I felt that I had finally come to my last phase, which was peace. Okay, that's cheesy as shit. Okay, I know that. I get that. But it's so true. When it comes to the hurt that I felt and not having a father, I'm clear. I'm good to go. That cancer is gone. And sure, it's simple, the idea of getting mentors and learning from them and being better. But this wasn't about just being better. This was about filling a void that I didn't even know I had, or maybe I was aware of it and wasn't ready to admit it. Jordan Peterson, he has this, he paints this beautiful image. Jordan Peterson, he's the author of 12 Rules for Life and Antidote to Chaos. He said you need to be the ruler and the kingdom. Treat yourself as a good king with his people. Well, I had built up my walls nice and tall, nice and strong, safe from the outside. But meanwhile, on the inside, my people were dying. And I was unable to admit it. At least not for a long while. Not until I had a little help from Frankenstein, Father. And the best part about it is, a little extra silver lining to this Frankenstein daddy, he just keeps getting bigger and better. As I learn more and further my level of peace and my understanding, I get stronger, he gets stronger, and he can't leave me. So that's a good thing. And to the men who have helped me fill that void and find that peace, I hope that I have done right by each and every one of you. I hope that I have shown you all how much you mean to me. I promise I'm doing the best to live my life and be a man that makes every single one of you proud. And it's because of every single one of you that I feel like when the time comes that I have a son or daughter, I can provide for them the same strength that you provided for me. I get to look back on my childhood and feel like nothing was missing. I get to come out of this feeling whole and never broken. And for that, I will forever be grateful. Cheers.